TV News, here's what's ahead. Campaigners bid for lottery funding to save Ancoats Dispensary. With Gaelic football season about to start, what is it?
And what's that? Tattoo lovers come to Manchester. We went along.
Okay. Is that all right? I think that's...
Hello there, I'm Sophie Whitfield.
And I'm Bradley Harris. We start with one of Manchester's historic buildings. It was to be demolished, but has it been saved?
Yes, Ancoats Dispensary was to be replaced. It might now be restored if campaigners can achieve lottery funding. Our top report comes from Joanna Sinkowska.
A once grand building, now hidden, Ancoats Dispensary awaits its glorious return. The Victorian pharmacy opened in 1828, run and funded by volunteers. Now volunteers have saved it from demolition, at least for the moment. Tonight, a meeting to raise awareness and help achieve lottery funding.
If the funding came, I would like it to be used for the whole of the community, from babies right to pensioners.
It's definitely another opportunity where young people can have a say, get involved in things and hopefully, develop something there.
Since 2001, Ancoats Dispensary has been owned by an urban splash. For 10 years there was no renovation, just an application for demolition. But the people protested and raised a petition. Out of it blossomed a night of entertainment, a fundraiser in which plans for the building were discussed, but not with us. The police were allowed inside, we were not.
I spent the biggest part of my children's lives fighting for campaign against the closure of the hospital. And that's why I'm here tonight, just for sentimental reasons.
The lottery bid will be submitted in August. Until then, the scaffolding remains along with its protesters' hopes. Joanna Sinkowska for Quays News.
Global conference TedEx arrived at Manchester Academy this week with their biggest event yet. Guests have been discussing inventions and new designs. TEDx began in California, and this year's conference was a collaboration with the University of Manchester and the Corner House Independent Cinema. Speakers included BBC News correspondent John Sopel.
Fantastic. I mean, I went to the dinner last night where the other speakers were there, and you saw this amazing array of subjects that are going to be talked about, from graphene to one guy's journey from Afghanistan to England, to me talking about being a war reporter, to a children's author talking about how to engage the creativity of young people.
Yesterday it was Pancake Day. I got stuck into some of my own pancakes myself, but what about you? We asked you and you tweeted us. So let's see what we've got. We've got Mr. Ashley Richards here, who has tweeted to us, here's my first and second attempt at making the pancakes. The one on the left actually looks like my favourite there, some Nutella. And this is the after. Oh, so this is actually what he used to put these pancakes together. I can see we've got some Nutella, we've got some pancake mix, and as the smart price raisins, you can tell he's a student. So moving on, we've got bacon pancakes from Crepe Fair. That's at Sheep on the Moon there. Looks very suave in there, very nice. Sophie, what's your favourite topping?
Probably lemon and sugar, but I do like a bit of Nutella every now and again. Yeah.
It's very nice. So obviously then with Pancake Day, everybody seems to be raring about it with all the different types of pancakes. But now today marks the start of Lent. What are you giving up? Tweet us with what you were giving up for Lent at Quays News. With so many Bulgarians in the UK, you might have heard about Granny Marta Day. You might even have a Martinitsa, just like me here. Granny Marta is a mythical figure who brings with her the end of the cold winter and the beginning of spring. As part of the cold tradition, Bulgarians give their friends red and white coloured strings, which symbolise health and happiness. Students here at Salford have been taking part.
To celebrate Grandma Marta, and what we do on this holiday is we do a bit of this, which are called Martinichki, and we put them on our hands to bring us luck and health. And then the tradition is when you see a stork or when you see a blossom tree to put it on the tree, and then this would bring you luck and health for the entire year.
On one level, I think they're quite feminine, so I don't like all of them. I like just some of them. I'm very choosy about which ones I wear because some of them seem to me a little bit girly. But on the other hand, I think it's good fun, it's good tradition. Chistita Baba Marta.
Now our resident film buff Will Carlisle is no stranger to wristbands. With the amount of festivals you've been to, Will, now you've been to see Non-Stop.
Yes, which is the new Liam Neeson action thriller, which has kind of become a genre on its own with movies like Taken, The A-Team, The Grey. He's pretty much a one-man action film studio. But this one, Non-Stop, it takes place with him on a plane where a terrorist is going to kill somebody on the plane every 20 minutes. And it's a solid thriller. It's one of those ones where you need a bit of suspension of disbelief because it's a great setup, but quite unbelievable in the way it's presented. And the ending gives you a pretty big pill to swallow. While the movie doesn't quite stick the landing, pardon the pun, it is a solid thriller, and there were moments where my heart was in my mouth. It's very tense, very enjoyable, and Liam Neeson is reliable as always. He's great.
Is this going to be some sort of Americanized sort of hero type of theme movie, or what do you think?
It's interesting you bring that up because Liam Neeson in Taken is pretty much the American father who can do no wrong. That's really the crux of Taken, which is what Liam Neeson has built his recent career on. But here they kind of turn that on its head. He's a damaged alcoholic air marshal. He's not really the hero, and this is the way for him to pretty much prove himself worthy. So it is kind of a critique on American heroes and iconography, but it's done in a smart way. But I recommend the thriller Non-Stop.
Brilliant, thank you, Will. We'll have to leave it there. Manchester could easily be renamed the tattoo capital of the UK after last weekend. Hundreds of tattoo lovers drawn, get it, to Event City as the third tattoo tea party was taking place there. Emilia Menchiva went along too.
It's hosted the X Factor, the Mother Home Show and even Amir Khan's wedding. Today at Event City, the Tattoo Tea Party. A meeting point for tattoo lovers from all over the UK and Ireland and more than 150 of finest skin artists.
Every tattoo is special. It's always special for that person getting it done, and you've got to make it a special thing for them. You've got to make that whole experience like good rather than going somewhere and being treated like muck and not being happy.
It's one of them crazy things that you can't explain to anybody else until you've had it done.
Cheryl first got tattooed at the age of 18. 12 years later, there is almost no space left for anything else.
It's just like sort of expressing yourself, and it's like there's stories of my life all over me. I don't know why I need to get a tattoo to remember stuff or to represent stuff, but it just seems to help, and it's helped my confidence, strangely enough, as well.
There are so many things to enjoy at the tattoo party today. People can compete on the boxing ring over there, join an illusion show, or drive a car like me. Woo!
Tattoos go back further than you might think.
Many years ago, particularly in Victorian times, tattoos were unusual. You only saw perhaps a sailor with the odd tattoos. So seeing a tattooed man, people like the great Omi, who were tattooed from head to foot, was extremely unusual. And like other freaks, they were self-made freaks, but like freaks of nature, dwarves, giants, deformed people, put themselves on show and charged money for the public to come in and see them.
Since then, people have become so obsessed with tattoos that now every fifth person in the UK has at least one of these body art illusions. For Quays TV News, Emilia Mincheva.
And now we're over to Will Moorcroft with all the latest sports. Will.
Thanks, Sophie. With less than 100 days to go until the World Cup in Brazil this summer, the excitement is building. England face Denmark at Wembley tonight in their final match before manager Roy Hodgson picks his 23-man squad. However, there was wide debate about the inclusion of Tom Cleverley and Chris Smalling last week. The Manchester United pair have struggled for form this season, unlike striker Wayne Rooney, who was also in the squad. Here is what some people think about the clash.
England, easy win. Can't see Denmark posing much of a threat, to be honest.
I think it might be a close game, 2-1.
I think England will win it 2-1. 2-1. Fancy Leighton Baines to get on the score sheet.
Leighton Baines. And what do you think of the selections like Tom Cleverley and Chris Smalling?
I don't think they deserve it. I mean, Man U been pretty poor recently.
Yeah, I'll go 2-0 England. Sturridge and Rooney to score.
And what do you think of Smalling, Cleverley in the side?
That's a joke, isn't it?
In the Eurostate Premier Division last night, FC United of Manchester took a firm grip on their playoff spot with a 1-0 win over leaders Chorley. This late goal from top scorer Tom Greaves earned the victory, which is United's 5th in a row. Elsewhere, Trafford remained in 14th despite a 3-1 loss at Skelmersdale United, while in the First Division, Salford City won 3-1 at Ossett Town. Christopher Collins-Reid scored his first of the season, and Matthew Purcell added a brace, although Salford remain in 9th. Joining us now in the studio, we have Cameron Coolaboots to talk about KK News. So Cameron, what exactly is KK Football News?
Well, it's a football magazine show I've been making with some students here at the university. We just have a bit of banter, talk about the weekend's football, you know, and get some funny tweets in from footballers and the like.
Yeah, and where can we watch it?
Oh, you can catch it at KK Football News on YouTube, and if you've got any questions, send us in at KK Football News on Twitter.
All right, I think we can take a little look at a clip now.
Hello and welcome to KK Football News. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a full suit, it's actually because I'm off to Newcastle straight after this filming finishes, because I've heard there's a managerial vacancy opening up. Anyway, joining me on the sofa are the very scruffily dressed Ryan Gaze and Will Moorcroft. Boys, you couldn't...
Now, we all know about the popular 11-a-side football and various strands like five-a-side, but what about a Gaelic twist on the beautiful game? Is it a Sunday League football match? Is it a game of rugby? Or possibly even outdoor basketball? Gaelic football isn't quite any of them, rather a mix of the three, and definitely something out of the ordinary. To us anyway.
So you carry the ball, and every 4 or 5 yards you have to solo the ball, which is kick it to yourself. You have to pass the ball using your fist, and you can score points by kicking it between a post or in the back of a net.
The game has been played in Manchester for over 100 years now, and was set up originally for the Irish workers moving to the city at the time. But it is not just restricted to our Gaelic cousins from across the Irish Sea.
Absolutely, it's growing. It's now played at universities all over the northwest of the UK, which is one of the fastest growing sports currently. Here today we've got a new team in our league, so we play out of the county of Lancashire. Currently there's approximately 11 teams in the county, but it is growing and growing.
So with the season starting in the coming weeks, there is plenty more to come. Will Moorcroft, Quays News from Hough End.
Now, something that's definitely in the lineup for a post-match meal, fresh from investigating National Chip Week, our self-nominated food correspondent Dan McLaughlin looks into the celebration of their natural complement, the humble pie.
This is Pie Week, the celebration of the staple diet of the North.
But who is the king of the pies? Well, the proof is in the pudding.
With 85% of the market dominated by Holland's pies, the crown would surely belong in Baxenden. But they declined an interview because they felt uncomfortable talking about rivals. Now, I've heard about pie fights, but that's ridiculous. Rocking the gravy boat, though, is Pie Minister, based in the Northern Quarter in Manchester.
The two guys have set up the company, John and Tristan. We're touring Australia, thinking of a new business venture, and basically found that Australia were doing better pies than us, and basically came back to Britain and basically started to put it right.
But an entire week dedicated to pies, I need filling in why they are so popular.
Yeah, I think pies are like the classic winter warmer kind of meal. Obviously it's a very cold time of year, and business is really very busy at the moment because people want a bit of home comfort. We sort of feel like it's simple food done really, really well, and I think that's why people started to take them to it.
Well, this is true investigative work. I have all my fingers in the pies. I just can't wait for National Gravy Day, really. Dan McLaughlin, Quays TV News.
And now with the weather, it's Helen Rowe Wilcox.
Thanks, Bradley. Spring could be coming. After a dry start this morning, it's going to turn cloudier with some slight rain pushing in, highs of 9 degrees. Cloudy overnight with some outbreaks of rain, but temperatures around 7 degrees, so those cars won't be as frosty in the morning. Tomorrow starts cloudy with some more rain showers, heavy at times, but temperatures are rising to about 10 or 11. For the rest of the week, Friday will start off wet for most parts, clearing through the afternoon. But wide frost will come overnight on Saturday. Saturday will be drier with overnight rain clearing quickly on Sunday morning.
So that's all from us here at Quays TV News. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Quays News, online at quaysnews.net and on Facebook.
See you next Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.